Hi there, my name is Donnie Price, and since the age of 8 years, I've been a passionate fly fisherman. I've constantly tried to get more people into the sport, which is a little tough to do, being that I live in central Oklahoma. But I think that there are a lot of opportunities in the Sooner State for fly fishing that people don't normally think about. Um, so that's what I'm here to do. I'm going to show a little bit more about what everything is about, some tips, techniques, just where you can go and what you can do to have a fun time fishing here. So hang around, and I hope that you enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Dallas Martin. I'm going to take a minute and show you guys how to tie a glass minnow today. It's basically just a smaller, thinner clouser. That's basically all it is, with two pieces of Flashaboo on each side of it. But the thinner that you tie it, the more effective it is. Alright, all you need to tie glass minnows is just some white bucktail, tan, or you can also use brown, some Gamakatsu size 4 stinger hooks. Bead chain works pretty well. You can also use lead eyes, but whenever they're up on the surface of the water, they kind of like the bead eyes a little bit better. And then just some thicker Flashaboo. Then, of course, your UV glue works really well for tying them up. Alright, just to start off with, you're just going to start off wrapping the shank of the hook. Then you're going to throw on your bead chain ice. Alright, then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your white or your lighter color, and I like to tie it right in front of the eyes. Get that nice and tight, and then just get a couple of loose wraps behind the eyes. Just like that. Then we're going to flip it over, and we're going to do our darker color. Which is going to be tan in this case. And the last thing we're going to do is throw on a piece of Flashaboo. And you want this to go just about all the way down the length of the fly. Glass minnows have a silver stripe running down all the way down the side of them. And you want this to go down the length of the whole fly. Glass minnows have that silver strip that runs from their gills all the way down their tail. And that's a pretty big characteristic that fish pick up on really well. There we go. Alright, and then the last thing we're going to do is tie in the darker color, and this one we're going to be using some tan. And then to Tie a couple of knots, wood finishing knots. And we're going to finish it off with some UV glue. Don't need a whole lot of it. This stuff cures pretty much instantly, really quickly. Should be good. That is your finished glass minnow.
Now that we're done with our fly, let's go see if it'll work. So what's going on? This hybrid is stacked up in. They're eating glass minnows, so you let it drop a little bit and then act like they're trying to escape. Like this, watch. I don't think I let it sink far enough. Try it again. I'm a professional. So let it sink. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then strip like a bastard. I'll stop it right in the zone. Pop it off a couple more times. Just whenever the camera's on, isn't it? Little bitty guy. What's happening is these little hybrid, it's a bigger hybrid too, are kind of stacked up around this point. There's some glass minnows and shad up here, but without that sparsely tied clouser, wouldn't be catching anything.
Nice little hybrid. Little fish, fun fight. Oops. I noticed that saw some shad running around this point. So I'm gonna see if I can catch this one. Catch one of something else, a little bunny. That's a bigger fish. A little bit bigger.
close to your face. There you go.
Nice little hybrid. A lot of people think that whenever they catch sand bass, it's actually a hybrid. Easiest way to tell if it's a hybrid is its lines are going to be broken up like that, where it's more of like dots instead of just straight lines all the way down. That's how you tell hybrid from sand bass. Ooh, little pig. Come down. Pound for pound, I think this is the hardest fighting fish that we have in the state.
So we're at Lake Hefner in Oklahoma City. We tied some glass minnows for this trip, thinking that they would only eat that. And we caught a few on there. And then Dallas figured out that they're eating shad as well. They're eating shad better than glass minnows. So we tied up a woolly bomber. I'm using chartreuse and white. Dallas is using white. We'll show you how to make those next. It's a good time. Okay, a good shad pattern is a variant of a bomber. So basically what you're going to need for that is some short shanked hooks. I like these Owner Mosquito hooks. They're size 1/0. I like to use red thread. Whenever you're using things that are in the upper portion of the water column and it looks red, then it looks kind of bloody to them. I like to use a different kind of glue on these to get this these eyes held down real well. And I like to do something a little bit different than what most people do with their eyes. I really don't like it whenever the eyes come loose right in the middle of whenever you're fishing. Then you have to change over and use another fly or fish with something without eyes, which changes the action completely of your fly. So what I've got are just small lead eyes that are colored to look like eyeballs. Basically what I do with that, this fly is pretty close to the eye of the hook where you want to put the dumbbell eyes. But I'll secure that down a little bit and then I'll start going around it like this to give yourself a little bit of a saddle, all right? And I'll try to secure this as well as I can, going all the way back and all the way forward. Then I come through with the saddle again. This extra couple of minutes spent on this actually saves a lot of time because you don't have to change out flies whenever you're fishing. Spend a little bit of extra time tying, spend a lot less time messing with your flies while you're fishing. Okay, so basically what you want to do next is pull out your marabou, measure that off to where you want it, right? And really what you want to think about right now is what does this prey item look like? What I'm trying to do right now is look like a little shad about 3 or 4 inches long. So I'm going to pull 3 inches of marabou off of this thing, trim it up, secure it, at this point I'm going to want some flash. I don't like to go just crazy with flash usually, just enough to get the fish's attention. So I'm going to take that on one side, go around my eyes, secure it to the other side as well. Take all of this, go back to about the bend of the hook, trim up my extra flash, If you want to add a little bit more detail to this, you can go ahead and dub something on the body. I like to add quite a bit more flash to the body. It just gives a little bit more characteristic of a shad. Gives a little bit bigger of a profile. You'll hear me talk about profile a lot with flies. There's good reason for that. The next step is to get some hackle. It's important to use something that's got good body. The reason for this is it provides a little bit more movement for the fly. And that's kind of the other thing that I pay attention to whenever I'm tying flies. I really pay attention to the profile of the fly and the movement. Okay, so you secure that hackle down. Give it about 4 or 5 good spins on it. Okay. The next thing that you do is secure that down with your thread. You'll notice I'm doing this zigzagging pattern here. That's just so that you don't lock down all of your hackle. Now the good thing about this is it's a good quick fly to tie. So if you're guiding or taking your kids fishing, or you've got your buddies out there that are going through your flies, it doesn't take a whole lot of time to replenish them. I like to every now and then add a little bit of green or chartreuse or yellow to these flies as well. If you take a look at a shad, you'll usually see that they've got a lot of yellow and sometimes chartreuse colors in them. But what I'll do with that is just kind of dub this in around the head. And it really tends to give them a good spot to go ahead and eat. If they know that the head is in a certain spot, they'll actually kind of go for that spot. Whip finish. Trim off your excess stuff. Tease the head of this thing. Na 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 na. And there you have it. That's a shad woolly bomber variant. It's very heavy. It's got a very good jig action to it. It actually rides upside down like this. So if you hit some rocks or something, it's less likely to snag up. You're typically using this in open water for hybrid, but I have used it for bass as well, very successfully. It's a great little fly. It hooks up real easy, and it's got a great profile, and it's got really, really good action. So if you're someplace that there are a lot of shad, and you want to represent some of the smaller juvenile stuff, 3 to 4 inches, it's a great pattern for it. Highly recommend tying those up.
Well, it's just about dark here on Lake Hefner. We've caught so many 1 to 2 pound hybrid on the fly. Our arms are tired. It's about time to go. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you like this, like us, share us with your friends and stuff. I'm Donnie Price. Thanks for watching.